Like I said, I was watching YouTube and I got a chance to check out a couple of your freestyles. Due to the technology, we was able to get it on film, and that's amazing. So I wanted to, I'm gonna ask you about those a little later, but I want to ask you, was it any freestyles that didn't get caught on camera, like in the '80s, that maybe you could share with us with some, some
Um,
legends, maybe some people we know or some people we may have never heard of.
well, when I got out of school, like in '87, but I went to high school with people like Pharoah Monch, Prince Poe. But at the time, they wasn't really rapping like in the school. Pharoah Monch was doing a human beatbox. He was a great ahead of me and Poe. So, he used to sit at the lunchroom tables, but I used to bang and rhyme. So Kwame went when I was a senior. Kwame was in the 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? So people like that was around, but they wasn't who they are right now. You know what I'm saying to the audience. But what if I would have had tapes of that back in those years? We didn't have the cell phones right now that we could just I could sit at a lunchroom table and just record me banging and rhyming or having battles with somebody at the lunchroom table. Nowadays, people probably can capture that, but back then that was a rarity. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who had, and I went to school where we had photography and all that stuff, but we didn't own cameras ourselves to just be like, I'm gonna go in there and tape me rhyming in the battle at after school at the lunchroom or in the train station. You know what I'm saying? So I had a battle one time with this cat in the train station. I took my brother, my man Kenny Muhammad. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a human beatbox. He went to high school with me at the time. He was called the bass controller, and I took him to battle some cat. Took him with me to battle some cat in the train station, and that cat had a human beatbox. You know what I'm saying? So I brought Kenny, Kenny is a bass controller. And then down the years, he changed his name to Kenny X. And if you look at the Apollo Theater back in the 80s, he was on Apollo or '90s winning the Apollo. So he's Kenny X. Right now, he changed his name to Kenny Muhammad. But he's somebody that can actually tell you, you know what I'm saying? There's other people that could vouch for certain things, but it wasn't like I was making records, but people know me for a lot of my people that know me for years knew I always listened to rapping and stuff. So, then I started going to open mic showcases and things like that. And I met people like the Almighty KG, one of my heroes, you know what I'm saying, from the Cold Crush Brothers. And he was the very first person that put me in the recording studio. Somebody I actually looked up to, listened to, had tapes. So I had a lot of early tapes of the early pioneers like Grandmaster Flash and the Fierce Five, Cold Crush Brothers, Jazzy Five, Treacherous Three, Fantastic Five, L Brothers, like so Busy B and all that. So I had a lot of those tapes to listen to when I was coming up. So when I met KG, I met him in like B Boy Records. That's the same label that Carrots on the Scholar Rock was down with Rock Candy Records when he put out the South Bronx. But I used to go down there and try to get hooked up. And that's how I met KG. And he just kind of took me under his wing, started taking me to clubs. I told him about my partner, because I had a rap partner, and he just started taking us all around different clubs like Latin Quarters, The World, Zodiac, different places all over, and getting us in. So that inspired me to make a record. Just being with him and getting in because we were with him, it's like, damn, I want my own clout, my own juice. But it was privilege. I felt privileged, but it was just like, damn, I got to make a record my own self. So, I mean, I got so many stories. I mean, but yeah, I hope that could kind of answer your question.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's like a dream. Some people dream about some of those experiences, but like I say, you was from that era and you held your own with a lot of greats and a lot of giants, man. That's phenomenal. I wanted to ask you about artists in particular. Now you got a chance to work with Lord Finesse,
Yeah,
amazing, phenomenal producer,
yeah.
lyricist. How did you connect with him? Because he's from the Bronx. Did y'all know each other before hip hop, or did that come later?
Well, I battled Lord Finesse. That's how I first met him. Me and him had a battle, which is on YouTube. People can see. This is the battle was July 13th, 1989. So that's the actual date of the battle, which is documented. It's on my YouTube playlist. My playlist, all of the playlists, but if you go to like my playlist that's called Percee P songs and features, is on there. And I put links to like, where you could read more about the battle. Like Double XL magazine had written it. They put it in the top 6 legendary rap battles. They made a whole article about that. But I put the link in the description part of the battle on my playlist. When you go to that battle video, you can see the link if you want to read more about it like that. So because Lord Finesse had things to say about the battle as well. But so I just put it there so people could kind of get an idea of what he even thought about the battle and stuff. So but yeah, that's how I met Lord Finesse. There wasn't no animosity. It was basically the guy. If you ever saw the battle, it was a guy that was commentating. His name is Tony Webb. He's from the project where I'm from, Patterson Projects in the Bronx. And Tony Webb kind of knew Lord Finesse from school, high school, and instigated the battle. Kind of like was lying to me saying this cat Forest Projects, man, Finesse, he talking about he beat everybody in Patterson, so he just come around saying that to me all the time, come outside. And then he would lie at Lord Finesse and just say the same thing. My man Percee P from my project said he eat everybody in Forest, so it's kind of like, who this cat? Let me hear this cat. So basically, I started coming out, and people was like, he was looking for me. He was, I thought they were lying, but one day I was with my homeboy, my man named Wu in the projects, and AG was with Finesse, AG from my project too, from Taking in the Craze. So he knew who I would be hanging around, and I guess he brought him and asked Wu, called him out the window, said, "Yo, what's up? Was Perks up there?" He said, "Yeah." We looked out the window, and we saw. He said, "Yeah, Finesse down here." So we went downstairs, and actually that battle was like probably, let's just say, like probably like a 2 week span of time of just going out until we finally had that meetup. So we was on the other side, the south side of the project, and my man Dave Devon Gonzalez said, "Hold on, let me go get my camcorder." So we wound up going on the other side of the project, which is my side, the north side of the project. So we walked in front of his building, 315 East 143rd Street. We waited outside the crowd, and he came down with his camcorder, and that's how we got the battle to watch now. So if it wasn't for him doing that, we wouldn't have had the footage right now to look at on YouTube. So I'm giving them their credits because I know for years people always talk about me and Lord Finesse, but nobody ever wondered how that battle, how it really stemmed off, and who was the reason, who was the cameraman. I definitely want to give them their props. That's why I did that. But yeah, people need to just go check that out and they'll see. But after that battle, Lord Finesse went on to put me on his records, and I didn't know when he battled me that the very next day he was entering a new music seminar back then, 1989 New Music Seminar. I found out that from his interviews years later, listening to his interviews. He had told, he was like, yeah, yeah, I was supposed to have been in the news. Well, one day I was going in the music seminar, but the day before I went to battle this cat named Percee P. Right. And he said, in his words, he said that was his hardest battle he ever had. And that said a lot because in the music seminar is a bunch of rappers from all over the country, like 20 artists that they stem from, nationally, and they just picked the best 20. So he considered me. That's what he said in his words. That's what's up. But yeah, he went on to put me on his album, told AG. His second album was like, yo, tell person when I'm on the album. And much love and respect to Lord Finesse. I actually did 3 songs with him, but did 2 for his second album, Return of the Funky Man. And one of the songs was me, him, and AG. It's called Yes You May. And I started off the song AG and Lord Finesse, and the Source magazine called me the rhyme of the month of that song. And the remix to that song was the first song that Big L was featured on.
Right, man. Big shout out to DITC, Lord Finesse. He deadly with the lyrics. So like you say, for him to even acknowledge, the battle and then go and put you on the track, that just lets you know what caliber of an
Yeah.
MCU is. And then they remixed it with Big L, another giant. So man, I gotta salute you on that. That's amazing.